Peace. What's going on, everybody? Giving everybody a chance to tap on in, man, before we start building on this topic for the day. Hopefully, everybody is having a powerful Friday thus far, keeping it peaceful, keeping it positive, productive, efficient, powerful, all that good stuff, man. Ed, peace. What's going on with you? Terenzo, my brother, what's going on? Andronicus, peace. What's going on, man? How everybody living? How everybody holding up? Beautiful Goddess Keys, Peach Queen, what's going on with you? Mr. Barbados, what's going on with you? What's the word, man? How everybody living? How this Friday treating everybody? Shaquille, peace, what's going on? Shine, peace, what's going on? Got some important information to discuss today. So hopefully y'all got a little time. Hopefully y'all got a little time today, man. We're going to chop it up. Gonna chop it up, man. I got a little bit of time, so we're going to chop it up. We're going to build today. Builders build, as we like to say. That's what we do. We build. William, peace, what's going on? Shaquille, man, you got it. You got it. Everything gonna work out for you. Everything gonna work out for you, no doubt. Just stay focused on it. Stay focused on the positive. Settle on the best part. All of that good stuff. William, no doubt. Like we say, in regards to the math, man, sometimes in order to build, you got to destroy. So that's kind of what I'm getting into when it comes to losing the mind being of benefit to oneself. Ms. Donnie, Peace Queen, what's going on with you? So people got to understand or be able to take the best part away from a situation. So losing that mind will enable you to be able to create a whole new, like an entirely new mind. Cal, peace, what's going on? Justin, peace. You already know, be tapped in. I be in tune with y'all, man. Cal, everything is peaceful my way. Everything is good. So like I said, man, sometimes, man, losing that mind is a great thing because you lose it and now you got to sit there and you got to construct an entirely new mind. So you just got to look at it in that light. In that light, man. So sometimes that loss is good. It enables you to get something that's newer, that's fresher. So you can just apply that to your everyday life, man. So you have a product or something that you bought, you lost it, or whatever the case may be. Then you got to buy you a brand new one. Sometimes that brand new one turns out to be better than the product that you lost. So you got to look at your mind the same way. You got to look at your mind the same way, man. When you find yourself losing that mind, let it go. Let it go. Lose that mind and create you an entirely new one. And the new one that you create may be 20 times better than that old one that you lost that was holding you back and holding you down. So at the end of the day, that's how we gotta look at it, man. It's like out with the old, in with the new. But a lot of times, man, we be so attached to that old mind, that old self, to where it's hard to just let it go, man. Let it go. Let it go, especially if that's what's holding you back and holding you down and preventing you from progressing in life. Terrence, peace. What's going on with you, man? I was chopping it up with somebody in regards to this, man. When it comes to just establishing peace in life and being centered in life. Sweet Tea, what's going on with you, Queen? What people don't understand is a lot of people, I've heard people say things like, I'm trying to be peaceful, but it's just so hard. First of all, you don't need to try to be peaceful. Being peaceful, like it's something that you are, like you just be peaceful. It's not something that you have to try and do. If you have to try to be at peace, then you already taking an L. You're already taking an L. If you have to try to be at peace, you are already taking an L. That's already a problem. You have to simply be at peace. Just have to activate the peace that's already there, man. So if you're trying to be at peace, it's not going to work for you. It's not going to work. It's what Bruce Lee talked about when he said effortless effort. It's got to be effortless, man. You can't be sitting here trying to be at peace. It's not going to work like that. Doesn't work like that at all. Does not work like that at all. But a lot of people, man, they have, like, they find that it's hard for them to be at peace because they have a lot of unresolved conflicts from their past, the childhood, the upbringing. And when you bury these conflicts for so long, you actually forget that they exist. So I done ran into a lot of people that have a lot of problems and they don't even know where the problems stem from because they have buried those conflicts. They buried those conflicts deeply and they've been burying them year after year after year. So now they so deeply buried to the point where it's like, man, I'm always frustrated. I'm always angry, but I don't understand. I don't know why. It's because you got this unresolved conflict. So now you got to dig just as deep to dig it back up. So you got to go deep within yourself, man, to dig those unresolved conflicts back up. So the deeper you bury them, man, the deeper you got to dig to unravel those joints, unearth those joints, as I should say. William, man, no doubt, no doubt. And a lot of times we don't we don't do that. We don't do that when it comes to using the old version of ourselves as a learning experience to improve and things of that nature, as a learning experience and to improve. We don't tend to do that. We tend to cling to that past, man. We tend to cling to that old version of ourselves, man. And we like to, a lot of times, depending on the situation, if it's something that's negative, and Kyle, man, I got you, man. I gotta get on that IG and check that DM out for you. Beats by Bless on our music. Peace. What's going on? But William, what we was talking about, man? You say we should use the old version of ourselves as a learning experience to improve. A lot of times when it comes to negative things that happened to us in the past, we like to cling to those things in regards to like why we are turning out the way that we are turning out, or why our lives are turning out the way that they are turning out. So I've seen a lot of people say your upbringing wasn't the greatest. Anything that is negative that happens in your life, I see a lot of people cling to that. Well, my upbringing was trash, so that's why my life is turning out the way that it's turning out. Like, stop doing that. Yeah, your upbringing was trash, but now you are here and you have the ability to reverse everything that happened to you, man. You don't have to continue to dwell on what happened to you in the past. Like, yep, the upbringing was garbage. Now it's a new time, new day, and you have the ability moving forward to make sure your life now moves in a positive direction. But a lot of times we cling to that. We cling to that past, man. Yeah, my upbringing was harsh. My upbringing was trash. Upbringing was trash, man. So everything that's happening to me that's negative, I'm gonna just blame it on the upbringing. See, that's because I was raised this type of way. That's why this is happening to me. Like, stop doing that. Stop doing that, man. Because when you cling to that past, especially when it's that negative light, you're gonna continue to give birth to those same type of conditions. So stop doing that. Like, definitely stop doing that. We got to stop doing that, man. And then even when it comes to positive things, man, we like to cling to those little memories and whatnot. It's time for us to create new memories. You know what I mean? So that's what we got to be focusing on. Just don't cling to that past, man. Don't look too far into the future like they tell you, man. All we got is the present. So we got to focus on that present, man. Yeah, that past happened. It was rough, but guess what? You survived it. You here now. So now what? So that's always the question that I ask people. You know, yeah, your upbringing was very harsh, but you here. You survived it. So now what you gonna do about it? Like, what you gonna do about it? At some point, you got to start holding yourself accountable. You know what I mean? So like if your parents was garbage, at some point, you didn't hit 25, you didn't hit 30. At some point, you're gonna have to stop blaming your parents, man, for the for your L's in life. You know, like, not everything is your parents' fault. Yeah, they raised you incorrectly. They raised you in a way that was toxic, that was bad. But at some point, you have got to stop blaming them for your shortcomings in life. And I see a lot of people that they always go back to that as an excuse, as justification for why things are not going in their favor. They say, yep, it has something to do with the way that I was raised. Like, all right, man, stop clinging to that. Stop clinging to that, man. That gets old real quick with me. It gets old real quick. Because once you understand that, okay, you had that type of upbringing, now it's time for you to do something about it, so that you don't do the same thing to your seeds while you were raising them. Oh, Jay, no doubt. No doubt, man. Going like people, you know what's crazy? When mentioning going crazy, I got personal experiences with this. A lot of people that are on that type of medication that people consider crazy are actually very intelligent people. I feel like for the most part, they are misunderstood because they may think in a way that goes against the grain, that goes against the norm. So people have labeled them crazy. Y'all know what I'm talking about. A lot of time, the people that are called crazy are very intelligent people. And they just say things that the average person wouldn't understand. I've literally seen this personally in my life. People just not understanding the individual, and now they are deemed as crazy. And then they end up getting sent to institutions, getting prescribed all type of medication. I've seen this. I've seen it. When in reality, the average everyday person should be hooked on those meds because they really crazy. So I've literally seen situations like that in life. But again, losing that mind is necessary to me. Just like destruction is necessary in order for you to rebuild, or in order for you to build in the first place. You got to lose that mind. You got to get to that lowest point. You got to get to that lowest point in life, man. And I've realized that, man, when you get to that lowest point in life, man, when you're back against the wall, man, it just makes it that much greater when you reach that level of success that you aiming towards, or when you reach that goal that you aiming towards. Yeah, beautiful goddess keys. Yeah, a lot of people don't see their issues, and it's crazy. Instead of actually seeing their issues, like again, they like to blame any and everything else for their problems and their issues, and that's sad. Montel, peace. What's going on? Airview, peace. What's going on with you? Yeah, William. Accountability is necessary, man. Accountability is big. Yeah, Ed, not even most of the time, all the time we had those examples in front of us of what not to do and what to do. We just tend to ignore them. And we always got to learn the hard way. Anais, always. We say writing your history in advance. That's what we call it. Dominique, what's going on with you? My brother. Alonzo, peace, peace. What's going on, everybody? Oh, Terrence, no doubt. No doubt. And people don't understand, man. Stop overlooking the small things in life. Stop doing that. Stop overlooking the small things in life, man. The small things, like, if it weren't for the small things, we wouldn't have the bigger things. We wouldn't have the big victories if it wasn't for the smaller victories. In order for you to get to the big victory, guess what? You had to have the smaller victories. So stop overlooking the smaller things in life. Stop doing it. Stop doing that. Stop doing it. Pay attention to those small things, man. Those small victories matter. You know, like I said, the fact that you are alive and breathing, that's a small victory. Essentially, you won't reach any large victory without you being alive and able to breathe. So you just got to embrace those smaller victories. Got to embrace those smaller victories. They are important. Oh, William, yeah, they still out here. They still out here doing that. They still out here doing that. They definitely still out here doing that. But I just be chopping it up with a lot of people, man. It's just crazy the amount of suppression that's going on in regards to the conflicts that we have internally. And a lot of people just not dealing with these conflicts to the point where it creates that conflicted inner environment, man, to the point where you not happy, you not at peace, and you don't even understand why. Like, it's a lot of that going on out here, man. A lot of people are angry, a lot of people are frustrated, depressed, and all of that type of stuff, man, and don't even know why. Because again, they have a lot of unresolved conflicts. And that is something that we got to stop doing. We got to stop suppressing these issues. We got to stop suppressing these feelings and emotions. Like, that is negative. That's no good. That's only going to lead to disease, to ailments, to you being imbalanced and things of that nature. So you got to start resolving these conflicts. And resolving a conflict don't necessarily mean it's something that you forget. You know, resolving a conflict is basically the art of detachment. Resolving that conflict is saying, okay, something happened to me back in my childhood. It happened, but I survived it, and I'm here now. That's all that resolving that conflict is. You accepting what happened to you, and you accept the fact that you survived it. You accept that reality. That's all that resolving a conflict is. It's not necessarily saying, all right, I gotta move on and forget this ever happened to me. That's what you are essentially trying to do when you are suppressing it. You trying to forget as if it happened. But you can't do that because it did happen to you. So that's what a lot of people don't understand, man. You can't be sitting around trying to forget things, forget as if things happen to you. Like, it doesn't work like that because it actually did happen to you. The fact of the matter is, what you can learn to do, though, is accept the fact that it happened and accept the fact that you have survived it. And then you just got to deal with the bright side of why it happened to you. It was something to be learned from that experience. No matter how tragic it appears, it was something to be learned from it. You just got to extract the lesson. So that's all you have to do. That's all you have to do. But you trying to forget as if it ever happened, it's a negative. It's a negative, because you can't do that, man, because it happened. It happened to you. You can't forget it. Can't forget it. And a lot of times that's what people strive to do, man. They strive to forget as if these things ever happened, and it creates these conditions that I'm talking about. So you're walking around in that negative state, not understanding why. So you got to stop doing that. You got to stop doing that. You will not be able to reprogram the mind if you continue to suppress these emotions and these feelings. Wisdom, what's going on with you? Yeah, William, and that's a fact, man. You got to face it. Like I say, don't run from the problems, run through them joints. Like, you got to face them. Like, whatever it is that you fear, you got to face the fear in order to conquer it. So we already know how that go. So if you want to conquer or solve a problem, you got to face the problem. You can't conquer and solve a problem without facing it, trying to run from it. That is not how you master the problem. That's not how you solve the equation. Like, if we talking from a school perspective, like, you can't solve a trigonometry problem by running from the trigonometry. No, you got to run towards the trigonometry. That's the only way you're going to master it. You got to study it, research it, practice it. That's you running towards it. So that's how you got to treat the problems that occur in your life. You got to run towards them joints and run through them eventually, you know. But we like to run away from them, man. We like to distract ourselves. You know, we like to drink, do all type of drugs, man. Just indulge in all type of gossip, all of these type of things to distract ourselves from what's actually going on and from from our actual problems. When at the end of the day, when that liquor wears off, when you come down from that high, when the gossip ends, guess what? You still had those same problems that you were striving to run from and striving to avoid. They will still be there. You can't get rid of those problems, man, by distracting yourself and overindulging in a bunch of nonsense. You got to face them joints. You got to face them. Got to face them. Point blank, period, man. There is no way that you will solve a problem without facing that problem. It's not possible. Not possible. Tay, what's going on? What's going on with you, Queen, man? It's not possible at all. But I just realized, man, a lot of people, we are traumatized people, man. It's a lot of trauma within the Black community, man. A lot of trauma, a lot of unresolved conflicts internally existing within the Black community, man. It's a lot of things that we go through that we don't necessarily resolve. And I'm starting to realize that's very prominent in the Black community, man. So we got to do better. We got to do better mentally. Create strategy, peace, what's going on? We got to do better mentally. And that's just something that I'm observing, man. Like, our mental, our brain health is terrible, simply because of the things that, you know, a lot of us experience via the upbringing. And a lot of that is tragic, of course. But, man, we just got to learn how to deal with it. That's one problem I have with the school system. Like, the school system don't necessarily teach us how to deal with everyday life situations and everyday life things. Like, we need to learn how to deal with, like, stress management. Like, that's something that we need to learn early in the game. Instead, we taking a bunch of knockoff classes that don't have anything to do with, like, actual reality. But we need stress management, man. Just how to cope with dysfunctional household. Like, we need classes like that. We need to learn how to deal with those type of situations. Just imagine if those were required courses in the school system, like how to deal with a single parent household, like how to, you know what I'm saying? Like things like that, man, things that we actually go through and actually experience. We need classes like that, man. Even if you got both parents in the household, how to deal with a toxic household while both parents are there, like just how to deal with these things, man. Let's learn about that type of stuff. Like we go through this whole entire school system and then we get hit with real life. And it's like, whoa, wasn't prepared for that. You know, wasn't prepared for that at all. But we take a bunch of garbage classes. Like I was taking some classes that were so unnecessary, man. It was just real pointless. Like in college, granted, jazz is cool, but I'm taking jazz appreciation classes. Like that's a joke. They ain't have anything to do with anything. And I'm taking that in college. Like if you want to learn about jazz, that should be something that you do on your own time. But y'all I'm taking a course on jazz appreciation. Oh, wow. Nobody is knowing how to fill out a resume and things of that nature. So you can take a jazz appreciation class, but what about a resume writing class and things of that nature, man? Just how to conduct yourself in an interview. Like these should be the type of classes, man, that we are required to take. So school should be a reflection of life. You know, that's what school should be. School should be a reflection of life. And Jay, what's crazy is my jazz appreciation class was taught by a white dude. So it was like, man, that class was a joke. You know, that was like the easiest A I've ever gotten. But it's like, dude, I need to learn something that I can actually utilize in my life at this point, man. I'm 21 years old talking about a jazz appreciation class. I'm already knowing about all of this stuff because, again, if you want to learn about the jazz, that's going to be something that you do on your own time, you know? But we need like the school system. That's why, again, I'm not a big fan of the school system, man. That's why a lot of us are dysfunctional. That's why a lot of our mentalities are all bad. School system is a joke, man. It's garbage. It's garbage. It's garbage. Like the curriculum needs to change, man. Start teaching us stuff that we will utilize in life early on. Early on. It's a lot of things. These kids witness and go through a lot. They witness and go through a lot. So they should have classes that reflect what it is that they witness and they go through. Like that's how it should be. Because at the end of the day, guess what? That child that's going through a lot of stuff at the crib, guess what? After they leave school, guess what they got to do? They got to go face these problems, or at least try to face these problems that they're dealing with at the crib, because them problems are going nowhere. So why not have classes that reflect these type of problems, man? Why? Why not? And why not teach all of these kids some skills that'll be useful for them when they leave the school system? I feel like, man, if you go to school from kindergarten through 12th grade, you should be well equipped enough to survive on your own out here. If you go to school for that long, if you say I'm gonna go to school from K through 12, I feel like once you leave school, you should be well equipped to do for yourself out here. And that's not nearly the case. It's not nearly the case. You should be able to survive and thrive on your own if you go to school from K through 12. You should be able to deal with a lot of stuff that life is going to throw at you. But more than 9 times out of 10, that's not the case, man. It's a lot of people, especially in the public schools, when they graduate from high school, it's like, and you just watching them conduct a sentence, it's like, man, how did you make it through that many years of school? And this is how you writing, and this is how you are speaking. This is not making any sense. So the school system is garbage, man. You can go through that whole, I didn't watch it. I didn't see people that got a public school education that still to this day can't do simple basic math. How is that possible? How is that possible? I've literally seen that. I've seen it. So that's letting you know that the public school system is a big fat joke. Big fat joke. Deshaun, man, even like I went to private schools, and the private school really wasn't even any better for real, if you ask me. You know, the school system just in general, public, private for the most part, just needs to be destroyed. And we need to focus on our own educational system. Dominique. And then even when I got the homework, it was a joke. CC, peace, what's going on? Definitely conflict resolution, healthy relationships, all of that good stuff, man. All of that good stuff. All of it. Anything that we gonna be faced with in life, anything the kids gonna be faced with in life, they should have a class reflecting that. Point blank, period. And we know what they gonna listen. Just even like when it comes to conflict resolution, let's just fast forward to okay. We know eventually you're gonna be looking for jobs and things of that nature, man. Just how to deal with rejection, because that's one thing that's gonna happen in your life. You're gonna get rejected. So how to deal with rejection, like simple things like that, man, should be taught. It should be taught to us. Should be taught to us, but it's not. It's not at all. Dominique, man, I'm already knowing. I'm already knowing. Lorenzo, 100%. William, that's literally it. That's literally it. So again, like that's literally all they doing, teaching a test. So basically testing your memory, just seeing how many facts and all that type of stuff that you can memorize. They teach you what to learn, but not how to learn. And that's the thing. Y'all know the cliche. They'll teach you what most BS and even like you know, so all we do is get no matter what platform you utilize. It's like church. We don't necessarily need a big service. You know what I mean? Like we can build, we can teach anywhere. And that's one thing that we just start doing. The universal school. You just walk outside and go to people and start teaching. That's school right there. Classes in session. You get on YouTube, you start building. I'm building classes in session. This is school. So we don't even need no actual physical building to have our own schools. All we got to do is start teaching no matter where we at. JB, peace, what's going on? Man? Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. Spoon steady wins the race. Louis V, peace, what's going on? TZ, Century Edge, peace, what's going on? And William, don't even, like I said, don't even get me started on college. Like that's literally not even gonna lie to you. The school system has a lot to do with where I lost my mind. So I think the school system in that sense, that's where I lost my mind. And I was able to just recreate an entirely new mind. Being in the school system, being in private schools and in college and things like that, that's literally where I lost my mind. And I left it there and I created me an entirely new mind just based off of the experiences, the things that I went through within the school system. So that's literally where I lost my mind, and that forced me to create an entirely new one. So I thank the school system for that. The school system caused me to lose my mind. Therefore, I had to create an entirely new one, a better one at that. Deshaun, that's all it is, man. And that's how I got through college. All it was memorization. Once I understood that, I was like, cool, this is easy. All I gotta do is memorize the key terms. I would just memorize vocab words, and that was enough for me to just breeze through college. It was just that simple. Yeah, I saw my live do that, man. They had blacked out on me for a minute. They out here trying to tap in. Big brother trying to tap in, but it's cool though. Torenzo, they steal a lot of they steal a lot of ideas from the babies. Like we say, the babies are the best part. They steal a lot of ideas from the babies, man. You know, they steal a lot of ideas from us. You know, we come up with something, they steal and they act like they originated it and things of that nature. So they've been doing that. They definitely do that though. Definitely. They want to take the credit for it. Kuma, yeah, we already know how that ADHD go. We already know. We already know. DJ Elmo, peace, what's going on? Nice, and there you go. Created my own life curriculum, and that's how it should go. That's how we got to do it. We got to create our own self-sufficiency, liberation. Stop depending on them. Because again, we've been dependent on them for how long, and look where we at. It's not doing anything to improve our actual condition. So we got to stop depending on them, man, when it comes to, especially when it comes to educating our children. Got to stop doing that, man. Got to stop relying on them for that. Because again, they're going to teach them half truths or an entire lie. So that's what you're going to get from them. Terenzo, no doubt. I almost had a situation like that, man. A white professor was trying to just take credit for something that I was coming up with. That's why I actually stopped. Why I actually stopped rocking with him. And what's crazy is this white professor that I'm talking about, since I didn't want to let him in on a project that I was working on, which essentially he wanted to take credit for, guess what? He gave me my only C in college. And it was like my last year, so it's like my senior year in college. This white professor was trying to take credit for a project that I was working on. And I was like, nah, I ain't really want to work with him. And dude gave me a C in his class, man. Mind you, I got nothing but like A's and B's on all the work in his class. But since I ain't want to let him in on a project that I was working on, dude gave me a C. That was my only C in college. Just to show you how wicked they are. Just to show you how wicked they are. Dude gave me my only C in college because I ain't let him in on a project. I'm like, dude, I ain't gonna let you in on this project because you're gonna try to take all the credit for it. So nah, I'm good. You know, I was like, I'm gonna do this on my own, fam. And dude gave me a random C out of nowhere, knowing I didn't deserve that C. But it's all good though. I already knew what it was. I already knew it. I said, once I don't let him in on it, this dude gonna mess up my grade. So I knew that was gonna happen. So I wasn't even, it didn't even bother me. Leo Soul, peace, what's going on with you, my G? William, yes, I think it's a good idea. I think it's a good idea in the sense where you can control the curriculum. And as far as having them mingle with society, it's a bunch of other different ways that we can go about that. And that's why when we talk about a culture, way of life, and things like that, and they say it takes a village to raise a child, we got to really legit get back to the village mentality. We get back to the village mentality, homeschooling won't be a problem because it's going to be a village of us. It's going to be a lot of us, you know, so it ain't going to be no problem having them interact with society because we going to have that village. So we got to really get back to that village mentality, man. But we already know why the village mentality doesn't exist today like it should and like it once did. We already know the science behind that. But we got to get back to that village mentality, and that will make homeschooling a lot easier to do. Orange State of Mind, peace, what's going on? Wisdom, 100%, man. 100% agree with that. 100% agree with that. And just piggybacking on the title of the video, man, like I said, man, black folks, we literally, all of us have to essentially lose our minds, you know, because this system is not for us, not designed by us. And a lot of us was raised by this system. So mentally, we just out of whack. So we got to lose that mind. Got to lose that mind, man. That's part of acquiring that knowledge of self. You got to lose that mind, so you can create a new one that's more original, that's more authentic, that's more true to who you are by nature. But a lot of us have deviated from that true nature simply because we was raised by this system. We're a product of our environment. We're a product of this system. And we already know being a product of this system is not something that you want to be. So we literally got to reprogram the mind, man. We really got to reprogram it. And the only way to reprogram the mind is to lose the mind. Lose the mind. And we're afraid to lose that mind. We're afraid to disconnect from that old self. We're afraid to get rid of that old self. We're afraid to do that. We're afraid to do that. So we gotta stop being afraid. Terenzo, yeah, I'm a little familiar with it. And speaking of that, what I'm talking about too, here's a good book. Y'all already know. I always have a book to reflect what it is I'm talking about. This is a pretty good book right here, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. This book right here, go grab this book. Y'all always know. Y'all know I always keep a book recommendation on deck, man. Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. How to Lose Your Mind, Create a New One, man. It's a reflection of what we're talking about today. That's the book that inspired it. I always got a book. But it's a very good book, man. It deals with the subconscious mind and all of that type of stuff too, man. So that's a very good book. Very good book. MC, peace, what's going on? William, man, Unification. And at this stage in the game, they got us so good with the divide and conquer, man, that it's a rough task, man, to get us unified out here, even on a small scale, for people to just come together, man. Because then when we come together, then you got to worry about people betraying the group, infiltrators and things of that nature, man, because they got us so money hungry out here that everybody got a price. And for the most part, that price is very cheap. So it doesn't take much to pay somebody to infiltrate, pay somebody to betray their own people. Doesn't cost much out here. Doesn't cost much out here. And we see what's happening. We see the inflation that's going on out here. We see what's happening to the gas. We see they talking about food shortage. Well, if you finna talk about food shortage, then essentially you about to see the food prices skyrocket. So we see what's happening, man. So everybody got a price. Everybody got a price. And again, the price is cheap, man. People are cheap. It don't take anything for people to be paid off out here. Don't take anything. The asking price is not that much. So people will sell you out for $20 out here, man. That's how desperate some people are. Airview, you say how many books I've read, man. This year thus far, man, I probably read about maybe 10 or so, 10 to 12. Wisdom, I'm not familiar with his movement, man. I got to do some knowledge to it. But yeah, man, we divided out here, man, and we let the simplest things divide us too. We let the simplest things keep us divided, and that's problematic in and of itself. We let the simplest things divide us, though. Yeah, Mark, the pettiness aside, man. I mean, but like even when I talked about yesterday, when I was talking about the Bilderberg Group, Council on Foreign Relations, talked about all of these white folks that come together, man. We already know. We call them, people say the powers that be, the elites, the 1%. We call them the 10%, whatever you call them. We know that this elite group of people come together and they plot, plan, and strategize our future for us. They don't agree on everything. Matter of fact, a lot of them might not even like each other, but they are able to come together for a common cause. And that's what we got to realize and understand. We got to be able to come together for a common cause. Yeah, we're going to have differences. That's nature. But when it's time to come together for the common cause, we got to be able to do that. But in order for us to come together for a common cause, we got to realize one or two things. We got to realize that we have a common enemy. And then we got to have a common objective or goal. And that's what those elites or whatever you call the powers that be, whatever you want to call them, that's what they have. They have a common goal. They have a common goal, and then they, in their minds, they have a common enemy. And we know who that common enemy is. We know who that common enemy tends to be. Justin, I haven't seen it yet. And yeah, they got us in that crab in the barrel mentality for the most part. That's why, the select few of us that don't possess that mentality, we just got to go hard. We're pushing that truth, pushing that information out here, pushing that inspiration, all of that good stuff, man, so they can continue to see examples of us that don't possess that crab in the barrel mentality. That's important. We got to neutralize all the nonsense that they show and display in regards to us, man. We got to neutralize it, man. So we got to go harder pushing that message that's positive and productive, because we're gonna see enough of those negative images about us within the media. So we got to go hard to neutralize that. And it's crazy in 2021 that it's still that way. But again, just look at the things that tend to go viral in reference to Black people. Just look at it. Just analyze it. Just analyze it. Oh yeah, Airview. And that's the thing, man. We got to strive for understanding. So those of us that have become like the black sheep, that have chosen to take healthier routes in life, we tend to be the ones that are misunderstood the most. And that becomes problematic because, again, we have this information. We know that the division can be solved if the understanding was understood. But it's the people that are deaf, dumb, and blind, that choose to remain ignorant to a lot of the realities of life, that have a problem when it comes to understanding. And that's the problem that we face. The people that, as we call them, the masses, they have a hard time when it comes to understanding those of us who come into consciousness, come into that state of enlightenment and things of that nature, man, just gravitating toward the healthier things in life. Like, they have a hard time understanding what should be natural and normal. You don't understand why I'm striving to eat healthier. You don't understand why I'm striving to meditate. You don't understand why I'm striving to do affirmations to better myself. Like, a lot of things that are misunderstood about us are crazy. C Square Piece, what's going on with you, my brother? So a lot of times we have to spend our time explaining decisions in our lives that are actually, it's like, dude, everybody should be doing this. Everybody should be striving to eat better. But yet when I make the decision to do so, I got to sit here and explain it to you. I got to explain to you why I'm eating fruits and veggies. Like, I shouldn't have to explain that, but that's the world that we in today. We got to explain simple things like I'm eating fruits and veggies today. And I got to explain to you why I'm doing this. Like, that should not be the case. But again, we so corrupted mentally that is the case. I shouldn't have to explain to you why I'm choosing to work out today. Like, why I'm choosing to work out 4 or 5 days a week. But I got to explain that to you. Because again, we just out of shape mentally. So when they see somebody, we out of shape mentally and physically. So when they see somebody striving to be in shape, they got to ask the question. They got to ask the question, man, why are you working out so much? Why are you eating so clean? Like, what you trying to do? Because they out of shape mentally and physically. So it's a taboo to them. Robert, I've heard. Robert, I've definitely heard in regards to saying it's worse out on the out of state side. I've heard. I've heard. Which is crazy. Which is crazy, man. I've heard that though. But man, we just gotta start pushing and promoting what's right and exact out here. We gotta start pushing and promoting that righteousness. We gotta start doing that. We gotta start pushing and promoting that health, no matter who understands it or not. We just gotta start pushing. We gotta keep pushing and promoting it. Gotta keep doing it. Like however hard you pushing and promoting that righteousness and that healthy lifestyle, now you got to go 20 times harder doing it. Because when we start doing it, like guess what? They double up on pushing against it. They double up on trying to neutralize and overpowering. So when they see us pushing that healthy lifestyle, when they see us pushing that positivity, then they working that much harder to say, you know what? Let's put some more negativity into the atmosphere, because they striving to be more positive out here. They striving to be more healthy out here. Let's double the negativity. Let's double the destruction. So they paying attention. They seeing what's going on. So that's why I say we got to go that much harder. We got to go that much harder because they paying attention to it. They see the positivity. They see the people that's pushing that empowerment. They see that. They see the people that's pushing help. They see what's going on. So that's why every time that you see a bunch of people start pushing that, then you're going to see a bunch more pushing the opposite. So we gotta understand what we up against, man. We gotta understand the tide that we are up against. And it's a vicious tide. So we can't be passive. We can't be passive with the information. We can't be passive with the inspiration. Gotta go hard. DJ Elmo, yeah, everybody has those ego problems. Now the ego can be something that you use to your benefit, but for the most part, people don't. People don't. You can't allow the ego to control you. And that's what happens. I was back when I was a writer, when I was writing a little poetry and whatnot, I talked about ego driven causing, wrecks, accident, clashes, and things of that nature. And that's what tends to happen when too many people are ego driven. It's going to lead to a fatal collision. And that's what you have for the most part. People are just ego driven out here. So again, when you have two ego driven people in a conversation, that's why they have that fatal collision. Because again, nobody is striving to understand. They just striving to get their point across. That's being ego driven. Releasing the ego in regards to having a dialogue, you saying, okay, I'm gonna listen to what you have to say, and I'm gonna let it resonate, and then I'm gonna respond to what you have to say or what you had to say. But for the most part, when it comes to a dialogue, we tend to have ego driven individuals, and that just leads to a collision. That just leads to people clashing. Oh, Deshaun, I'm already knowing. Don't get me started on that. I already know. I already know. Robert, you say from the island of the Bahamas is very different with our black people here. And I can imagine, man. I can imagine. I've heard a little bit in regards to the Bahamas, man, but not in depth. So I can imagine just from off the little bit I've heard. I can imagine how how it is over there. But I've heard a little bit in regards to the Bahamas. I've heard a little bit, but not a whole lot to where I can go in detail about it. Yeah, wisdom always, man. We should always be focusing on ourselves as you are the foundation. So that's why I say always. It always goes back to self. And we lose that. We lose that reality. It always goes back to self. So you should always just focus on yourself, man. And when you focus on yourself, man, everything is going to unfold according to that. So you gotta apply everything to self, man. You always gotta go back to self. You gotta deal with self. So that's important. Focusing on self, man, improving self, developing self, evolving oneself. Like that's what's important. Because at the end of the day, that's all you're gonna have, man. So it's always important. It's always best to focus on yourself. Whether it be like it don't matter, whether it be a relationship with a boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever the case may be, or family, friends, whatever. Best thing to do is to focus on yourself. Focus on yourself. Sounds selfish, but at the end of the day, sometimes that's how you gotta be. Gotta be selfish. Gotta be selfish when it comes to that reality, man. You gotta be selfish just when it comes to your peace, your sanity, your happiness and all of that good stuff, man. You have got to be selfish when it comes to that because, again, nobody else can supply you with those things. So you have got to be selfish when it comes to just being centered and balanced and at peace. Got to prioritize that. to the point where if something is disturbing it consistently and repeatedly, you got to remove it and you got to stop dealing with it. So you must prioritize those things in your life. You must do it. Got to put yourself first when it comes to your health. And if something is disturbing your health, man, it's not good for you, you cannot keep indulging. You cannot keep fooling with it. And we do the exact opposite, man. The things that are bad for us, the things that we shouldn't be indulging in, we overindulge in them. So we got to do better. We got to do better with that, man. If something is harmful, if something is destructive for you, then you got to stop dealing with it. Got to stop dealing with it. JFW, peace, what's going on? Yeah, J Rocker, man, you say your energy and mental health comes before anything. Exactly. Comes before any and everything. Wisdom, man, I ain't make you a moderator, bro. I gotta do that. I got plenty of moderators. I gotta make you one if you're not already one. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Definitely do that. But yeah, man, your energy and your mental health most definitely comes from, man, even your physical health, you know, the mental, the physical health, the energy, all of that good stuff, man, it comes before any and everything. Any and everything. Because again, if you don't have your health, then what do you have? Like, how you gonna fight the good fight if physically you just unable to do it? So you got to prioritize that physical health, man. You got to prioritize that brain health. You got to prioritize it. How you gonna be there for your kids, man, if physically you are unable to? Like, physically you just sick, you fatigued, you're tired, you bedridden, and all of that type of stuff, man. What type of example are you going to set for your children when they're not able to see the best version of you? So you got to prioritize your health, man. Health is important. Health is important, man, and we just keep letting our health slide and slip. Oh, Mark, listen, we got to get over our fear. That's the only way. That's the only way to get back on top. That's the only way to change our position. The only way to do it is to get over that fear. But that fear got a hold on us, man. That fear got a hold on us, especially when it comes to being self-sufficient. That fear has a nice grip on us. But we got to remove that, man. We got to remove that grip. We got to free ourselves from that grip. Got to free ourselves from them shackles. And we got to get it going, man. We got to get it moving. Got to keep it pushing. Like, that's the most important thing right now, man, to just keep on fighting, man. Remove those shackles. Remove that grip. And once you remove that grip, man, it's going to be a sense of like an ounce of liberation right there, man. And you just got to go from there. But a lot of us, they still got that grip on us. So free yourself from that grip, man. Free yourself from that grip, man. And that's going to open up your mind. It's going to open up your mind to a lot of new possibilities. A new realm of reality. So we got to remove that grip, remove the shackles, man, because psychologically, a lot of us are still enslaved. Heck, even physically, some of us are still enslaved. People talk about the form of slavery now is psychological slavery, man, but physical slavery still exists. It's also, again, in a different form. So a lot of us are still physical slaves as well, or physically we still slaves as well. Just different forms and whatnot. Yeah, Mark, and those that don't know, man, you gotta strive to find out what we call doing the knowledge, man. You gotta stay up to date in regards to what's going on around you. That is very important. That's very essential. DJ Elmo, no doubt about it. Most of them fear that power. Most of them definitely fear power, because the reason why, we've been shown that we were powerless for so long that we think that that's in our nature to be powerless. And then we have associated power with wickedness, with corruption, with evil, just based off of like history. So anytime we see power in history, we see wickedness, we see corruption, we see evil. So in our heads, we have associated all that with power. So therefore, power is not something that we strive towards and for, because we feel like power will corrupt us. When at the end of the day, there's plenty of people that have held power that are righteous with the power, but we don't think that exists. So they definitely made us fear power in the sense that we think power is something that will corrupt us and make us evil and wicked, when that's not really the case. Of course, when corrupt people have power, that's what happens. But you know, when you righteous by nature and you acquire power, guess what? That's righteous power. But they're not going to show you any examples of the righteous power out here. They're going to show you examples of all this wicked and corrupt power. So they got you fearing power, so you won't strive for it. So yeah, I definitely think that we not even think, know that we fear power when it comes to just economic power, being self-sufficient and independence. We fear that. And another reason why we fear it, just historically speaking, is because every time that we were self-sufficient, look what they did to our towns and whatnot. Bombed them, got rid of them. So a lot of us like, man, if we even if we do this, then they just gonna destroy it. So they got that fear. They instilled that fear in us. Wisdom, you say you got a question. At what age did you start to come to reality, conscious and healthy journey? Man, I think I was around like 1920. About 1920, it's about 10, 11 years ago. About 19, it really actually started happening right after I graduated high school. So I was really about 18 going on to 19. So I was probably, 18. I'll say 18. That's when I really started to come into consciousness as far as the information goes. The health journey didn't start to probably about a year or two after the fact. So about 18, that's when I started coming across all that information that was awakening my mind to a bunch of new possibilities and new realities. I say about 2021, that's when I said, all right, now I got to make some changes in regards to like my health and whatnot and the things that I was eating. So I was getting the information first, and then of course by default, once I was getting that information, came across information that was telling me what to eat and how to eat, and I listened to that information for the most part. So you know, that's pretty much how my journey went, man. I never looked back from there, man. So I pretty much stayed committed to the process, and I'm still committed to the process, still committed to the journey, to the journey. Yeah, Mark, you talking about silence in the mind, that's stillness of the mind. But we be so involved in gossip and things of that nature, man, that it's hard for us to quiet the mind, because we'll rather gossip. We'll rather participate in mindless chatter. You know, that's what we would rather do. DJ Elmo, you say the image behind you, Khalid Muhammad, what qualities do you admire about him? Fearlessness. Fearlessness. That's what I admire the most about Khalid Muhammad. Dude was fearless, bold, courageous. Like dude said, the stuff that dude was talking about, man, the things that he was saying at that point in the game, he was bold with it. He was bold, no filter. He was gonna say exactly what he felt. So I definitely admire like the fearlessness, just being bold, the courageous mentality that he possessed. Like those are the things that I admire the most about Khalid Muhammad, man. My man was fearless. My man was fearless. He stood on the truth. He stood on that square, and he didn't allow anybody to knock him off of that. Even when he spoke the truth in a way that got him in trouble with the Nation of Islam, he still was standing on his truth. Still was standing on his square. He didn't allow that to change him. So he stayed committed to it. He stayed committed to the message. He stayed committed to his purpose. So that's truly what I admire about Khalid Muhammad. And then just the way that he conducted himself, man, in regards to like his speeches and things like that. Very great speaker. Very great speaker. Khalid Muhammad, one of my favorite speakers, one of my favorite people to listen to. So he conducted himself very well, man. A lot of debates that he had with the white folks, man, like the way that he conducted himself in those debates, just flawless, man. Immaculate, man. I definitely admire Khalid Muhammad. Like I said, when I started to come into the consciousness, man, I was watching a lot of Khalid Muhammad speeches. A lot of Khalid Muhammad, man. That was one of the first individuals that I started to really study when it came to speaking and things of that nature. Like his energy is everything, man. His presentation is everything. Delivery, everything. But yeah, man, I definitely studied a lot of Khalid, see Fred Hampton, studied a lot of Fred Hampton, studied a lot of, Tupac was also pretty good with the speaking and things of that nature. Studied a lot of him, Malcolm X, of course. Huey Newton was my man. Huey Newton wasn't really no public speaker or whatnot. Really wasn't really good at that. That wasn't a strong suit. But man, in regards to just philosophies on life, Huey Newton was my man's in regards to just how he viewed life. So that's what I admired about Huey Newton, man. The way he viewed life, his philosophies, his writings, and things of that nature. That's why Huey is in my top, man. So those are some of the dudes when I started to come into this consciousness. Those are some of the dudes that I was like studying. I admired their story and whatnot. Was real big into them, man. Like Marcus Garvey is another one. Oh yeah, wisdom. We always got to focus on eliminating the toxins, removing the toxins from the body, cleansing or refining the body. We always got to focus on doing that. Always, man. We should always be focusing on cleaning the internal, just like we focus on cleaning the external. So you got to wash the insides as well. You got to shower the insides as well. Like that's crucial. That's important. A lot of times we neglect that. We focus on the exterior, but not the interior, man. So we gotta focus on that interior as well, man. Clean that inside up, clean the interior up, refine it, cleanse it, give it a break. Stop feeding it so much. So yeah, refinement is crucial, man. Refine means to cleanse oneself. Refinement means to cleanse oneself mentally and physically. So it's got to go on mentally, it's got to go on physically. And that's part of losing the mind. That's refinement, to just lose that mind and give birth to an entirely new one. Like that's crucial. That's definitely crucial, man. That refinement is crucial when it comes to the math, man. So cleanse yourself. Cleanse yourself. Y'all hear me talk about detox, and y'all hear me talking about fasting quite often. So that's one of the best ways to detox and cleanse oneself, man. People be asking me that. What's the best thing to do to detox? Fast, man. Refrain. We always looking for something to add to the body, man, to supply the body with. Sometimes it's best to just refrain from putting something in your body. Michelle, peace. What's going on with you, Queen? Like sometimes that's the best move, to do nothing, to consume nothing. Like sometimes that's your best move. Sometimes that's your best bet. But we always looking for something to do, something to put in our bodies, like something to eat, something to drink. We always looking for that. Sometimes that's not the answer. Study nature and you will find that out. Sometimes your best move is to just rest and do absolutely nothing. Sometimes that right there will restore your health. That right there, just resting and doing absolutely nothing, is enough to restore their health. A lot of us don't understand that, man. We so caught up in trying to do every and anything, and wonder why our health, wonder why we can't recover, like wonder why we can't restore their health. Slow down, rest, stop doing so much, chill out, and see how that takes your health to the next level. Justin, no doubt, no doubt, 100% right and exact, man. You gotta regain that shine, gotta lose it. Gotta lose. DMX was on to something, man. He said, y'all gonna make me lose my mind. Like, let it happen. Let it happen. Let that mind go. Let it go. Let it go. Like, that's my advice, man. Just let it go. Let that mind go. But instead of us letting it go, we try to keep it. We try to keep that destructive and toxic mind that's killing us. And wonder why we dying, wonder why we suffering. Because we can't let that mind go. We attach to that mind. We attach to that old self. So we got to learn to let that mind go, man. We got to learn to lose that mind. Got to learn to do it. Got to be okay with it. Got to be okay with, man, the old version of me, like older self, not necessarily a good version of me. Got to be able to accept that. Like, if you 30 and your 20s was just trash and tragic, but you learned a lot from it, man, you gotta accept that. Like, man, in my 20s, I was doing this, that, and the third. I was a toxic individual, but I'm gonna leave that in the 20s, man. So I'm moving on. I'm moving on to bigger and better things. Old version is just that, an old version of myself. I'm no longer that person. You got to stop letting the past define you, define your present, define your future. Got to stop doing that. And a lot of people do that. We let the past define us. We let our past define us, man. You got to be able to move past that past and stop letting it define you, because you are not the things that happened to you in your past. That's not you. It's not who you are. The only thing constant is change in life. So when you flow with nature, that's the only thing that's constant, is you changing, you evolving, and you growing. So no, you shouldn't be that old version of yourself. You shouldn't be the same person that you were 5 years ago. That's not how that goes. If you are the same person that you were 5 years ago, then you're going against nature. And you don't want to go against nature. You shouldn't go against nature. We see what happens when people go against nature, when people try to control and manipulate nature. We see what happens. So when you cling into that old version of yourself, you're going against nature, and you're going to see what happens when you goes against nature. Destruction. Destruction. Severe destruction. A lot of calamities. A lot of damage being caused. So you got to stop doing that, man. You got to learn to flow with nature. Got to learn to flow with it. Become one with it, as they say. Stop living in opposition to nature. Stop living in opposition to what's normal. Stop trying to go against the flow. You know what happens when you strive to go against that flow. Know what happens. That flow is strong. That flow is strong enough to take you out. So don't go against it, man. Do not go against it. Instead, flow with it. Being with the wind instead of trying to fight it. You're not going to win trying to fight the wind, man. So just being with it, use the wind to your advantage. That's what you're supposed to do with nature. That's what you're supposed to do with life. Use life as an advantage by becoming one with it and flowing with it. But life becomes an enemy to us. Life becomes an opponent. Hence why life is able to just knock a lot of us down and keep us down. And while life takes us out, because we living in opposition to it. We didn't allow life to become an enemy. DJ Elmo, no doubt. That, man, financial literacy, nutrition, just studying the universe, like science, man, just basic science, psychology, things of that nature, man. They really underestimate the intelligence of the children. These children can take all of that at a very young age and be receptive to it. So we got to stop insulting the intelligence of the children. For the most part, man, these adults can't take all this information, man. But them children, they open to a lot of this information. They understand what you're saying. You got to teach it in a way to where they really understand it. When you teach it in a way in which they understand it, then we good. They're going to be receptive to it. So we got to teach them all of that, man. Nutrition, financial literacy, science, math, like all of these things are important because we know and understand math is the original language of the universe. So we got to teach them that science. We got to teach them that math. We got to teach them that nutrition, that financial literacy. All of that is important. That psychology, all of that, man. Just how the mind works. Like I said, stress management. Like CC said, the conflict resolution. All of that is important. So all of that type of stuff is important. But we know the curriculum will never reflect what we're talking about. So we already know that that's not gonna happen, man. We should already understand that. It sounds good, but we know that they're not gonna change the curriculum to where it benefits us on that scale. So we already know that that's happening or not happening. So that's up to us, man, to start teaching these babies and start teaching these kids what we feel like they should know and what they should know and understand. So that right there is our duty and our duty only. Because they not gonna do it. They not gonna do it at all. But yo, with that being said, man, I gotta make a move, man. I got some people I gotta train, man. So I appreciate y'all taking the time out, chop it up with your boy and build with your boy and listen to what I got to say. But I'm gonna have to go ahead and make my moves, man. So y'all enjoy the rest of your Friday, man. I'm gonna definitely tap back in with y'all tomorrow and Sunday. I'm trying to get back to the consistency with the streams. So I'm gonna tap in with y'all again tomorrow. Y'all enjoy the rest of this Friday, man. Y'all stay peaceful and centered out here. I'm out, y'all. Peace.